Alright, hello, my name is Snow Wolf, and this is my submission for SGDQ for Darksiders 2. Darksiders 2 is a very fun speed game. There's a lot of glitches, a lot of skips, and very interesting fighting sequences. So, the setting of this game is that you are Death, trying to save your brother War, one of the horsemen of the apocalypse. And what happened is that in the first game, War basically destroyed all of humanity, and you're trying to revive humanity because War got imprisoned for doing that, because that was a big no-no for the Chart Council. So, first off, we got this little horse riding sequence where pretty much you're just sprinting and then jumping at the end of the last possible second of the sprint so that you can keep your momentum. So here we're going to be fighting some skeletons. The purpose of fighting those skeletons is that they drop a hammer. They may drop a hammer. You want a hammer with decent damage for this run so that you can gain enough height when you're going to be doing infinite jumps later on in the run. And he dropped an hammer. Let's see if it's a good one. And it is. 7991 is actually the second best hammer you can have. The best one is 8090. Because 8090 is just assured damage, and it assures you the skips we can do later on with the damage. So main movement in this game is rolling. Here in the Vale, we're doing 2 rolls and then walking a bit, because on the third roll, you can't roll directly after it, which is bad for speed. So the first glitch is going to be cutscene walking right here. So you can walk during a cutscene right here and gain a couple of precious seconds. After that, we pretty much ignore all the enemies. There's going to be a slight skip using the charge hammer attack coming up. But basically, yeah, the Vale is pretty much glitchless for the most part, except for, no, wait, I didn't say that. Vale has a bunch of glitches, which are mostly cutscene walking, and later on we're going to have, well, right here actually, we're going to be having a cutscene walk where we destroy Frost Titan before the cutscene ends. Just hope I get this one. And I got it. So you see I can move during the cutscene. And we just wait for the Ice Titan to come close, and then we charge up our hammer, hit him like this, go back up, hit him again, and he's basically almost dead. So you just kill him before his own cutscene ended, with the epic other cutscene after that. Fun thing, on that door right there, it is possible to roll onto the door and then get boosted to incredible heights. You do not want that because it is not useful and actually loses time. So I did another cutscene walk. It saves around 1 second once you get to the top of the elevator. Because you can't walk during the whole cutscene because right here is locked on walk. You've got a set path. You cannot do that in those kind of type of cutscenes. So basically, the use of it is to basically get close to the wall right there and be able to jump right away as the cutscene ends. So we got a little bit more parkour going on here. We're going to have a little skip later on, say that around 2 seconds, where we don't do the into the way of getting to the 7th place, as speedruns do. Oh yeah, we're trying to go get the Crowfather, which is supposed to have the secret to reviving humanity. But he has been corrupted by the corruption. Yes, original, I know. And actually does not want to help you, so we're going to go fight him. So there's a little skip here. You just jump off and grab onto that ledge instead of going down the vines and everything. It's a little bit faster. Alright, so coming up is going to be the War fight, which is basically the Scroll Keeper, the Crowfather actually. That is going to transform into War and try to beat you, but he is the first boss since he is easy. We basically beat him in around 4 hits. Fun thing about this game is that all cutscenes are skippable, which is amazing. Alright, so we're going to go in towards him and do a charge hammer attack on his face, which is probably going to one-hit him like this. and sends that straight to the cutscene. So here we just spam left mouse button. And then I'm going to hold my hammer charge during the cutscene so that when the cutscene ends, I'll be able to smash his face with my hammer as soon as it ends. And there we go, we defeated War in 4 hits. And after this, there's going to be a couple of cutscenes which I'm going to skip, and then we're going to be sent over to the world which is called the Tri-Stone. World 1 does not take very long because it is completely skippable by the glitch we call the Infinite Jump, or IJ for short. So yeah, we got a couple of cutscenes also in this game where the deaths are pretty epic, like embroaching the Crowfather on a scythe, which is pretty awesome, in my opinion. Embroaching impaling, please. My French is showing.
The uncountable worlds of our universe.
Alright, so here the only way to make it faster is that you memorize the spawn points of these golems and try to kill them in 2 hits, which is only possible with a decent damage hammer. There's supposed to be one over there. Yep, there you go. Where is my other friend? There he is. He went through a different pathway this time. Alright, so that's pretty much it. You just kill the golems and then you skip all the dialogue. Alright, so now here we're going to get our first level. We're going to use it to get the teleport charge, which is going to be very useful for movement and for later on doing the infinite jump. Alright, so first off, once I get into the village, I'm going to fight Thane, which is something you usually do at later levels, but since spearrunners are apparently good at their games, we're going to try to fight them faster. Fight them at the start. What? Did I not? Alright. So, pretty much, I'm trying to dodge all of his attacks with the backwards dodge, which has a very long invincibility frame. So we're able to dodge all these attacks. These attacks right here can one-hit you, and I was badly positioned, so I cannot hit him while he's doing those attacks. So we just defeated Thane, and after that we're going to go to the pots and try to get a potion. Which I did, but sadly the cutscene locked me before I could pick it up. So we take Harvester of Revenge and Meteor Strike, which are going to help us travel. So now we can do this right here, which is a lot faster way of travel. And once we get out here, I can actually get the second Teleport Slash, which lets me do 3 rolls and then Teleport Slash, contrarily to the first Teleport Slash, which only let us do 2 rolls and then Teleport Slash. So we go talk to this lovely lady. And in this run, we allow the use of DLC weapons. So we're going to go to the mailbox right here and pick up some weapons. And we're going to go to the map before we can get all the pop-ups for all the weapons we just picked up. So we talk to Thane, and he's going to open the door for us. We get in front of him so that we can get out without waiting for him to get out of the way. So here we're going to do our first infinite jump, and then ledge boost of the infinite jump to gain the distance we need. A ledge boost is done by rolling off a ledge with some, empty space near it. So World 1 usually requires us to do a couple of dungeons, do some quests, beat up a lot of bosses. But since we're speedrunners and we cheat through games, all we're going to do is infinite jump over the Corruption Eye and go over to the second world. Now, how I infinite jump here is that I'm jumping, charging my secondary weapon, and at the same time doing a teleport slash, which creates the teleport slash creates a platform under you, so that you can jump off of it once you're done. And you can't usually teleport slash while in the air, but since you are charging your hammer, for some reason, it lets you teleport slash while in the air. So here I went a bit of distance before getting on my horse, because if you go up to the horse in zones that usually you're not allowed to have your horse, you get off of it automatically and you have to wait a bit before somebody get it again, which loses time. Alright, so when you get to this point, sadly the door is locked since you didn't defeat the Corruption Eye. So what we do is basically we go out of bounds using the infinite jump again, and we go talk to Absalom from under his feet. So infinite jump is used for two things mostly. It's to gain infinite distance while in the air, or infinite height. It is still a very slow technique, so we try to use it only when necessary. So there's a couple of optimizations where I'll be you know, running or rolling instead of, you know, infinite jumping some sections.
Divides a soul.
Alright, so now we're at the Tree of Death, in the World of the Dead. So this is the vendor. Vendor is going to be quite trolly. We sell 2 items here, the Dark Talons and the Skeletal Axe of Rending, so that we can buy 5 potions and 5 Wrath potions. Vendors can be trolls because the amount of potions they have is always RNG dependent. Alright, so to skip all this the sequence where we have to roll to a place where we can actually get on our horse, we just teleport to the waypoint right here, which brings us right over here where we can get on our horse automatically. Oh, something I have to mention too. This game has quite the following. A lot of people really love these games. The story is really intriguing and all. But sadly, I think the studio that was making this game went bankrupt, if I'm correct. So there won't be a Darksiders 3, even though most of us want a Darksiders 3. Too many jumps right there. I actually screwed up my sprints. Okay, so we get off the horse right here and go to this dungeon. So what happened is that since we skipped the whole first world, we don't have the claw, which lets us grab onto things, onto walls, and lets us, you know, boost ourselves. So which it actually causes problems in the second world. So we have to use the infinite jump to get to places where it will usually be faster by having the claw. But getting the claw would take us around like 30 minutes, something like that in first world, so we don't do that. Alright, so here we don't have the key for the door, but it is possible to just go through the door like that by going behind the block. Right here we skip this whole section by just using infinite jump. It is actually possible to skip that section by using a death warp with some other IJ-less techniques. There's actually no infinite jump route for this game, which is quite interesting and pretty fun, and very optimized too. I think the no IJ world record is actually 1 hour 30 minutes, I think. Anyways, so I went right there to get a checkpoint that I'm going to be using later on to warp to. It was not me getting messed up in my routing, don't worry. Also, when I don't have sprint on my horse, I am jumping because jumping is actually a lot faster than just running with your horse. Alright, so right here, a bit of RNG. I can teleport to one of the Scotsons with a slash if they're in the correct position, which was a very good teleport slash right there. Saves me a bit of time. So right here, I'm using the roll of Reaper Strike, Meteor Strike actually, because if I try to teleport slash is actually going to teleport me to one of the enemies. Okay, and fun thing too, how I am able to do the infinite jump without losing any wrath is that teleport slash, as long as there's no enemies around you, will not teleport you to an enemy or use any wrath if it doesn't have any targets. So right here, since I don't have a target, I'm not using any wrath, and it's not teleporting me forwards towards an enemy. So right here we skip the whole boat sequence to be able to go to the Palace of the Dead. By just jumping through this whole thing. Now, once up there, the area is not going to be loaded. So what we basically do is that we hit the autosave checkpoint and reload from there, which reloads the whole area. Like this. And it reloads the whole area. So here's a good example of places where we could have used the claw to actually be faster, but now we have to use infinite jumping to get the height we want. Alright, so right here is one of the only unskippable cutscenes in the game. Most of the unskippable cutscenes are boss deaths or boss introductions. All the other ones are usually skippable. So we're gonna go up there and trigger the cutscene for the Death King's Council. I forget what his name is.
A rider in the kingdom of the dead. No, this will never do.
So to be able to talk to the Lord of Bones, you have to get his 3 lords to come and kneel before him and excuse ourselves. But since we're speedrunning, want to go fast, we're just gonna go talk to 2. So here I want to equip all my DLC equipment because it is only available at level 5 and I'm now at level 5. And then we're back to the checkpoint that I got lit earlier on right here. And we're going to make our way to a dungeon. We're gonna go to actually the Judicator's Tomb. There you go, that's the name of the dungeon. Pull the blank right there. Alright, so right here there's like this little lump in the path where it forces your horse to jump. So all we do is that when he jumps, we just jump off of him and IJ to get some very good speed and go faster. Yeah. So right here I'm infinite jumping through the out of bounds area around the overworld. If you didn't know this, well actually you couldn't notice, this game is actually very Zelda-like in the fact that it has an overworld and dungeons where you have to solve puzzles and collect items to do so. It was very inspired by the Zelda games. So I'm just infinite jumping through here, and we're gonna get through this visibility wall right here, and we're gonna be seeing a couple of doors. I'm going to be headed towards one of those doors, and once I get to it and open it, it's gonna load the area around me. And there we go. And it loaded the area around me. So coming up is actually the hardest fight in this game. It is not a boss fight, it is a mob fight. Simply because there are two skeleton warriors which do not get... my god. Stuttered. They don't take they don't cancel the animations when they take damage. There you go. I pulled a blank on the right word right there. So we just activated soul and activated the fight. And also the fact that there's a lich that spawns tons of skeletons. So it is very easy to die on this fight. So the strat usually is to actually stun lock them by doing this and then charging your hammer onto them. The optimal way is to have both of them in the same range for your hammer, but sadly that did not happen. It very rarely happens, actually. So I'll be using the same technique on the lich right here. If my targeting actually manages to target it, which would be amazing, please. There we go. That was a very close call. He could have killed me right there. And there you go, the end of the fight. So after that, we go over here, and we're gonna go get the third souls. The souls are you usually have to get 3 souls, but you only get 2. Because only the first and the third one are actually required to trigger the ending cutscene of this dungeon. So we're just going to go out of bounds right here, yet again, with the infinite jump, and make our way towards the third soul room. You need the 3 souls to actually have the Judicator come by your side and come to Lord of Bones with you. So, yet again, we're going to go towards the out-of-bounds door to load the dungeon around us. And there you go, we loaded the area around us. Oh, yeah, sorry. So now we're going to pick up the third soul. And usually after the third soul, there would be a huge fight with some skeleton spawning skeleton and a huge skeleton titan. But we're just going to skip that whole thing. We're just going to go infinite jump through here. And onto this corridor right on here. And now to load the rest of the area. There's actually some kind of a loading zone in front of certain doors, like this one right here, and it loads the area around you. Now we talk to the Judicator, and that's the end of the Judicator's Tomb segment. Alright, so now we're going to go back to the Eternal Throne, and going to go fight Basileus in the second Neuron. So go around here. We want to make sure to go get the trigger right here around the vines, because if you don't, a door later on will not open. So you have a vendor down there. We used to use him and like buy more potions for the Basileus fight, since the fight is pretty complicated. Well, not complicated, but there's a lot of ways to fuck it up and actually die very fast. But since we skip the third soul fight, he does not refresh his items. Plus, I feel very comfortable doing it with 3 potions. Alright, so you turn the laser right over there to that same colored spot over the door so it unlocks it. And for some reason it did not unlock it. There we go. This game is very buggy. Alright, so we're yet again in a place where we could have used a claw, but we have to use infinity jumps instead, which is a lot slower. Now we're going to trigger the cutscene to get into Psychomeron. If you notice correctly, you're going to see the cutscene kind of starts like twice. That is because you usually get here first, the first time to do some kind of arena fight, and then the second time you get the cutscene to go into Psychomeron. But since we killed the Adjudicator, it is possible to trigger the second cutscene instead of the first one, and just go to Psychomeron straight up. Alright, now since there's enemies around me, I'm going to be using the old infinite jump technique, which is basically jumping, getting out my scythes, equipping another set of scythe, and jumping again. This lets me infinite jump while there are enemies around, and get to a certain height where I can actually use the / infinite jump. Here you want to get enough height because the invisible wall over like is somewhat high. So here you want to kill all the bugs around the gap over there, so that you can teleport / infinite jump over the gap without targeting those little guys. So you're going to be attempting another cutscene walk, which saves around a second. And I got it. Oh, I forgot to tell. Teleport walking is achieved by opening the radial menu right before the cutscene starts, so you can start walking through the cutscene for some reason. It's magic. Alright, so here I'm going to want to kill all the scarabs, because later on I'm going to need the experience to attain a certain level so I can do the unbreakable glitch. Alright, making sure I have all of them. Alright, so the Basileus fight is somewhat complicated. The whole fight has, like, the first phases are pretty simple, but then later on you get to what we call the combo phase, which is basically when Basileus gets off a Kinda and starts attacking you at the same time. So yet again, I used the backwards dodge, which has a very good invincibility frame. So you just want to kill Akinda with hammer charges here, which is the most damaging move in the game. And then fight Basileus again. Alright, so here's the combo phase. You can actually manipulate the combo phase so that Basilius has to attack into Akinda so he doesn't not attack you, so you only have to worry about Akinda or Basilius at one at a time. Okay, this is bad. I'm actually caught into Akinda. Luckily, I made it out. So that was extremely stressful because I had to do some very precise dodging while I couldn't see what was happening. So I just basically used my inner timer to time their attacks. So I'm quite impressed with myself actually for pulling that off. Because you usually just die when that happens. Alright, so now that we defeated Basilius, we can actually go to the Lord of Bones and go into the final dungeon of this level. This world, actually. But before that, we're going to go get a potion refill from the vendor. We do that in runs too because we don't get a vendor before we get to, not the next world, but the one after that. So we're like without potions for a very long time. So if you hadn't realized yet, the sound is kind of fucked with this game because since we're going so fast and skipping so many things, the soundtrack kind of goes haywire and just stops playing at some point. Alright, so right here we get the ability to split up the Soul Splitter, which lets us split into two and do things like only that two people could do instead of just one. This will be useful later on for the Fat Scribe fight, and for a couple of skips. So also later on, well, only one actually, if I remember correctly. So in here, you're going to want to kill some scarabs, so they can attain a level 8 and do the Unbreakable glitch. Oh, I am apparently already level 8. So, what happens is that I'm going to put a point into Unbreakable, activate it, save my game, and quit. What happens is that usually Unbreakable is an ability that gives you a temporary boost. For 8 seconds you get a boost in your strength, and after 8 seconds it goes away. But if you activate it, save your game and quit and come back, you actually gain that bonus forever, and it stacks for every point I put into Unbreakable, which makes my fights later on a lot easier. Also, a fun thing, in Soul Splitter mode, you get twice the effectiveness from your potions. Alright, so usually you have a huge dungeon with a lot of puzzles and tons of sequence. We're just gonna go skip straight to the last boss by going through the roof where they forgot to actually put some collision on. And apparently, I'm not on the right side. So we're gonna redo that. There you go, this should work. There you go. And there you go, no collision on this side. So just go over the dungeon and just go straight to the last boss. So just walk on this thing, which luckily has collision. And we drop down here and make the corridor load right under here. So, Wailing Host fight. The Wailing Host can remind a lot of people of Cthulhu. And he does remind me of Cthulhu. What we're going to basically do is the first phase we're going to fight him normally. And the second phase we're going to be jumping on, infinite jumping onto a small invisible platform that is right in the middle of him. Which lets us focus fire on him while ignoring his damage. And the skeletons around him. That was the first phase. I thought it would be a slight skeleton sequence where you have to kill all the skeletons before he comes back and you're able to damage him. So to get to the first skeleton that spawns, I just spam my teleport slash, which is going to teleport me to the first skeleton that's going to spawn. Right there. So I'm cancelling my attack combo here so that I don't, use unnecessary attacks. Plus the fact that my fourth attack on the full combo does not one-shot skeletons. So it is pretty useless and just wasting time. So I just want to finish jump right here on the platform. Like this. So you target the Wailing Host and just start going ham on it. Alright, so again we're going to have another skeleton sequence. This sequence is a bit less of a, no-brainer, like just all kill skeletons, because at some point the snakes, the flying snakes that are around this fight, are going to start attacking. And those snakes can fuck you up. And there's a lot of more skeletons too, so it's a lot easier to take damage. Thanks to level up, I don't have to pop up potions for this fight. Go ahead, Jay, back onto the platform. Let's take one of the piece of me. So yeah, as I was saying, those snakes can't really fuck you up. But thankfully, they did not fuck me up. So here we have probably one of my favorite after boss cutscenes, where you basically just freaking wreck him with your sights. And then when he tries to retreat back down to his hole, well, you ain't done with him. Alright, so this boss can actually drop some better sights than those you have, so that can save some time. If he does drop them. But do not go out of your way to actually pick up the better sights. Because it is RNG. And he didn't drop any better sights, so that doesn't really matter. And this is the end of the second world. Just talk to this guy. Get out of the room. Don't talk to him twice. Get out of the room, and teleport back to the Tree of Death, and on we go to World 3. So World 3 is pretty much heaven. Where we're going to be teleported to Earth, which is pretty much all fucked up and destroyed, and all humanity is turned into ghouls. So we skip all the dialogue at the start of heaven right here. So by doing this, teleporting to the checkpoint and getting onto our horse right away, like this. So the cave coming up is actually very hard to navigate with your horse while sprinting. So it is very possible to get stuck into walls and stuff like that because your horse controls like an SUV. He does not turn correctly. And sometimes he refuses to U-turn. So we pretty much have like a somewhat long horse riding sequence. So when you get to that trigger right there in front of the platform, you trigger a fight with a bunch of angels. And the fight is actually very hard, and it's skippable by just doing IJs like this. But since we do not do that fight, we do not get a vendor for this world. So we're pretty much left with all the potions we had in the World 2. And that's all we're going to be getting until World 4. So, up there's going to be a puzzle where it requires a claw and the soul splitter, and it's actually very long. So what we pretty much do is that there's a barrier that is blocking you from going up. So you just pretty much IJ over it, that's all. Infinite jumping is the solution to everything in this game. Alright, so now we're going to be headed off to Earth. Earth is a very, very, very bugged level. There is probably going to be no sound at all for that level if we're like, whatever. There's probably not going to be any sound for that level because it is extremely bugged. It is usually the most hated segments of Darksider players because it's somewhat of a third-person shooter segment. It's kind of weird. It doesn't really fit in this area of the game. I liked it, since I thought it was a refreshing breath of air. But, breath of fresh air, there you go. But a lot of people really did not like this segment. So we just basically jump over the gate here, get through the other side, and the rest of the area will not load here, so we're going to get another autosave checkpoint, quit, and come back. So you can see that the sound for that teleport slash was cut. It's kind of weird. The sound is really fucked up over here. So yeah, again, I'm going to finish over this barrier here, and I'm going to go to a very small platform that is going to be over that wall that you see in front of me. So I'm going to get over it and try to ledge boost myself onto that platform. It is possible that I miss it, but I usually don't. Going extra high just to make sure. And now we're going to go here and trigger a cutscene. No, actually we're going to trigger loadings, I'm sorry. We usually trigger the cutscene, but now we don't do that. We found another way. Now for some reason I'm actually stuck into some debris here. And I got out, good. No, I didn't. Well, this is annoying. So yeah, the game can sometimes do that. Just get you cut into. So we're just gonna trigger the cutscene right here, which you don't normally do. We're just an infinite jump over to the next platform over there. But backup strats, because it is possible to spawn into one of those objects right there. So we just all the infinite jump over the wall here, and start. Forgot you have to all the infinite jump a lot more than that, and start jumping towards the bridge over there. So we skip the whole fight. And we can start infinite jumping again. So normally what we would do is infinite jump over that cutscene trigger and just infinite jump over to this bridge here. And we have to go over this place here so that we can get a trigger, so that we can actually hit that green blob you see over there, so we can get the staff, which is why we're here after all. The Rod of Arafel, there you go. That's the name. And we're done with Earth. Alright, so coming up is the Citadel and the Fat Scribe fight. The Fat Scribe fight has a very decent chance of actually crashing. So what usually happens, if I crash, I will usually just pause my timer and then get back to the place where the game crashed and restart there. But for marathon purposes, it only loses around maybe a minute max when it crashes. I just restart the game and get to the checkpoint I had before that. So here we have the lovely auto-scroller part where we can't do anything. So you basically just watch and have a little break to go get some water or anything like that during your run. Or a bathroom break if you're really fast. So yeah. Yeah, pretty much donation time too. My goodness. Alright, so over here we're just gonna infinite jump over to the outside of the Citadel right there. Right here. And we're going to skip over to the portal gun. The portal gun is the only item that you absolutely need in this run, because you cannot defeat the Fast Scribe without the portal item, and you cannot get to Samael without the portal item either, the portal gun. So this game basically becomes Portal for a while. Right here, I'm going to soul split right here, and attempt to do a glitch, which is going to let me move while the cutscene of this is happening. And I got it. So right now I'm not going to be in the cutscene. I'm actually moving outside, and I'm going to try to get to a certain point as far as I can, but not too far, because if I'm too far, I will actually not be able to pick up the portal item. I think this should be good. And it was not very far, actually. So you want to kill these two little guys because they can actually interact with the jump later on. And then jump over this gap right here. So here we're gonna have a little skip. We go through the corruption actually, We roll through a corruption, and at the middle of a roll, we go into Reperform, and then cross a corruption. What happens is at the other side, we're going to end up with only 1 HP, but still be alive. It has this chance to miss. It is possible to miss it. And there we go. Ah, please. So just take a potion, splits, and open the next door. So right here we use a portal gun. We threw a portal there, and a charge portal over here. And we're off to the fast grab fight. So right here I'm going to want to equip my axe, because it is useful for a glitch we're going to be doing with the Soul Splitter statue. What happens is that if you're charging an attack and then split into the Soul Splitter statue form, the statue is going to keep on doing that charge attack, and it's going to keep on attacking, so you get extra damage from the statue, which is not usually supposed to happen. So as you can see, the statue is still attacking, and I'm attacking him behind his back. Like this. Alright, so I'm going to shoot a portal there, and a portal here, and go watch him, and wait until he does this little animation which indicates he's going to be coming back down. Like this. So that I skip his attack completely. I'll try as much as possible not to get hit by the angels, because they can actually make your game crash. Alright, so I want to get into the middle here. And wait for his lasers to spawn, and then shoot my little portal gun right here, and it kills him one shot. But sadly, I think the game is going to crash now. Oh no, it didn't. That's good. And there we go, you can just kill the fast scribe. And the game didn't crash, which is a very good thing, actually. So now that we get the checkpoint, we're going to go back and going to do the Archon fight, because the Archon was corrupted by the corruption, as the fast scribe tells us. So he actually sent you on a mission to do the Will of Absalom, which is the boss of the corruption.
Open the well.
The Archangel fight is actually fairly easy, because he gets stunned by your attacks, which is a lot of fun. You can actually tank his first attack when he does that, because it deals very little damage, but his other attacks do a lot more damage. Alright, so right here in this angel form, he's going to fly up. I can do 2 infinite jumps like this, and then do all the infinite jumps to get to him, and hit him twice with my axe. And that skips to the next phase. Like this. Right now, after this phase, it is possible to infinite jump out of the platform to a certain distance, where it forces him to teleport towards you, and then he drops into the death zone and skips on to the next phase. Like this. Now we're gonna watch him. He's gonna teleport to me, bam, into the death zone, onto the next phase. So here the phase is very easy. You wait for him to come down here, and you can start hitting him. If we're lucky, he's only gonna charge once, but it's all RNG based. And he's gonna charge twice. And we're done with the Archon fight. The Archon fight kill sequence is actually very cool to watch too. It is pretty epic. So the Archangel is just preparing this huge stone for you, but for death, you don't take a shit. Just spawn a huge freaking scythe, just slice through it, come through in death form, and just pierce him with your scythe. And then, like as it was nothing, just throw him down on the ground. Alright, so that's the end of World 3. I'm just gonna wait for the autosave. Now we can move on to World 3. We're gonna teleport back to the Tree of Life and get 2 dialogues, which one of them is the first that we skipped. But it's actually faster since... It's actually faster since you only get 1 fade in and fade out. Alright, so right here we're going to do another map thing, like teleport to the waypoint to skip all the dialogues we have right there. Get on our horse, and head towards a vendor first. To refill our potions, and now we want an actual better weapon than the DLC weapon we have on ourselves right now. So we can deal a lot of damage, and do a different type of unbreakable glitch. A little dialogue with the vendor here. And now we're gonna buy any two-handed weapon. Hammer of Fire is pretty good. And refill ourselves with potions. So as you can see, he had a very small amount of potions right there. So what we're gonna do is gonna points at this right here and this right here. What that does is that it actually gives critical chance and critical damage to our unbreakable glitch right now. So we're gonna do the unbreakable glitch yet again, and it still stacks for every point put into those 2 abilities. Like this right here. So now we have a 50% I think crit chance and 50% more crit damage or something like that. Something very OP like that. So we get back on our horse, and we're gonna go visit Lilith, which is technically our mother, from what I've understood from the game. She freed us from the Nephilim, which is basically the race of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. They're all Nephilims, which you learned in the first game. So Lilith basically like freed death, war, and whatever from the hive mind of the Nephilim, I think. It basically created us and gave us all this power. So right now we're gonna equip my my brand new weapon. And kill these so they don't interrupt my infinite jumping. Come on, just die. Whatever. Thank you. Okay. So we want an infinite jump over to that platform over there. Right here. Infinite jump to the next platform over there. And infinite jump to this one right here. Alright, so some fight has a very small chance of crashing, but there is one during the cutscene in the middle of the fight. It has something to do with the FPS going way too high, even though we have VSync enabled, and the game not being able to handle all these frames, and just crashing. Somehow it's kind of a tricky boss fight. He becomes invincible during surges of his attacks, but luckily I got him right as he spawned, as he teleported, and got a crit on him, so that was pretty fast. So you just want to dodge the fireballs here, they're very easy to dodge. Got me. And there we go. Send into his second phase. If you get him right as he's teleporting, he is usually vulnerable. Vulnerable? Whoa. That was pretty bad. And there we go. Send him into his next phase. So coming up is the cutscene that could crash. And it did crash. There you go. So I'm just going to restart the game. What I usually do is I pause the timer. When I get back to that point, I restart the timer. But it's no biggie. We just have to go through that fight again.
The journey so far. Here, corruption give.
There we go. And on to the second phase. We actually had a very faster fight right here. You spam E here. You spam E here to jump over him. The cutscene is considerably shorter when you jump over him and skip his attack. Plus, you don't look stupid. So right here, you can actually walk during his small cutscene here and get closer to him, so you can start attacking him as soon as he becomes vulnerable, like this. And send him into this phase right here. So, this fire really hurts. So you really want to be able to skip it as much as possible. Okay, for this fire phase, you can just continue to jump, and the fire will not touch you. Crap. There you go. And we're done with the fight. This is the only fight that does not have a kill sequence during the cutscene. So now we're going to go back and going to go fight the last boss, which is Absalom. Absalom has a very tricky attack pattern. He hits multiple times. He's very hard to dodge, actually. This is a very hard fight in speedrun. In the casual playthrough, this fight is kind of trivial since you're so freaking OP, and he doesn't hit that hard when you're higher level. But consider that right now we're actually like level 9, I think, compared to when you finish the game casually, you're level 25. Given that you don't have the power of the Unbreakable glitch, but still. So just going to this fight here and trigger the cutscene and trigger the last boss fight. There we go. So now this cutscene is probably my favorite in the game. This one right here, because Absalom does this freaking epic side axe hit on you, and it's just so freaking brutal. Like, he grabs and just like, wham! It's so well done. Alright, so for the third phase, I'm going to be hitting him a couple of times and then going into Reaper mode, which ignores all of his damage, letting me kill him very fast. I guess. And there we go. And timer ends at the last when we hit the cutscene right here. So that was Darksiders 2. I hope you appreciated the run. It is a run I very much enjoy running. Probably one of my favorite. It's actually my favorite speed game. And I think it's a very interesting run, very fun to watch. Very good fan base for this game too. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my submission for SGDQ. I hope you guys will appreciate it. And no matter what, I will be seeing you guys at SGDQ. You guys have a good one. That was Snowy Snowwolf. And let's just watch the standing cutscene just for shits and giggles, because it's pretty cool too. Oh, and Death does not have a hand in that cutscene.
I've killed Absalom. Stopped the corruption. I stand at last at the well of souls. No idea what I must do next.
It is quite simple, and yet most difficult.
I'm in no humor for riddles, your father.
You may tap the power of the well to return the kingdom of man, or it may resurrect. But know that choosing one will forever doom the other.
My brother born. I would protect him above all.
To return man to the earth will require justice. Thus from death came life, and the seeds of humanity will be sown. But death's journey was not ended. On the shattered earth, his brother War had slain the destroyer.
You will be hunted. The White City for certain. The Council, and there will be others. You would wage this war alone?
No. Not alone.
War had broken the seventh seal, summoning the horsemen of the apocalypse. And the number of the riders shall ever be 4.